Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
So the last step from our controller, we are returning a success, which is nothing but a logical view name. But our view resolver was supposed to identify what is the JSP page that needs to be returned to the dispatcher servlet. So to specify that, you need to configure the view resolver within your Spring configuration file. So currently, one more bean you are supposed to configure, which is your view resolver bean, and you are going to use internal resource view resolver, and you need to specify the properties prefix and suffix. Prefix is corresponding to your web content location. Currently my success.jsp was available under web content only, so that's the reason I have specified only /. And for a suffix, I'm using .jsp files and not premarker or velocity files, so that's why I have specified as .jsp. So once it has identified success.jsp, your dispatcher servlet will send the request to your success.jsp page. So here in success.jsp, I'm just printing the message with EL expression language $of message. This means whatever that we have specified with respect to our model attribute. So once you have specified that properly, your Spring will provide this EL expression to be resolved as request or session scope, and it will display the data onto the front end.
Krish?
Yep.
Can you go to the XML file, the annotation servlet XML? So in all the Spring framework related applications, is the bean name going to be the same thing there, that a handler mapping?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
It's always hard coded. I'm like,
see, our intention is to use annotation based handler mapping. You should specify the name as handler mapping, then only your Spring framework will understand how it was supposed to resolve the call to handler mapping. So it will expect the bean name to be handler mapping only.
so there is no need to extend that particular class or anything like that, right? If at all I need to do anything on my own.
So what kind of a work?
Assume I want to do some customization. Maybe I want to write something of my own. I want to do something more than what that handler mapping does. There is no option.
Yeah, you can just configure one and you can specify the class here. It's just a normal handler mapping class that it will expect. So if at all if it is a subclass also, there won't be any issue for Spring. it will just follow the inheritance hierarchy and it will call the lower level one, which you have written as a customized one.
And I should say it extends handler mapping, right? That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let us execute this one. From my index page, you can see that in action, I'm specifying index/message. The reason for that is once it has entered index controller, it will enter index/star. That means index/, it will invoke this particular controller, and after that, it will resolve the call to index/message. Let us go and execute this one. So at the top level, I just have some H2 tag or H3 tag to display some information, and after that there is a button message. If I click on this one, you can see that index controller get message HTTP get request received. Currently, what kind of a request we have submitted? We didn't specify any kind of request parameter. Either method is get or post. That means by default it will submit the request with get method only. Once it has entered in index controller, you have the option of specifying, see, even at the method level also, you have the option of distinguishing between get and post methods. If you put a control space, let me add the attribute value. You can see that there is one other attribute method. There is a enum class which consists of whether it is get or put, post, or any kind of request that you can say. Request method dot get. So that means currently this method will accept only the get kind of request. Even though if you specify index/message and if you submit the request with a post request, this method won't accept, and it will simply specify that there is no corresponding method available or corresponding class was available. We'll take a look at that one. What happens if you didn't specify the parameter, whatever that was expected at our annotation level.
Yes.
Is there anyone asking questions?
Yeah. This is Shravanti.
Hey, Shranti, go ahead.
Yeah. Here, the logical name success
Okay.
is matched to JSP name.
Yeah, success.jsp.
Okay. So
No, it won't match. See, whatever the name that you have specified, success, this is just like a logical view name.
yeah. Okay.
Then it will be returned back to your dispatcher servlet, and your dispatcher servlet asks the view resolver, and your view resolver identifies, uses the prefix and suffix path, prefixes what the user, logical name, whatever that you have given with the prefix value, and then uses the logical name and then appends the suffix value, whatever that was available with suffix property. So finally, it will resolve the call to success.jsp.
Okay. So if we change like success.jsp name as like some other name.
Let us say you are expecting here error. Okay.
Okay.
That means the JSP file should be /error.jsp, which needs to be available within your web content. but
Oh,
currently it was not available. That means it will simply specify that path not found.
Can it be login?
Sorry?
Can it be login? The return login?
Yeah, you can. No issues. Is that clear now?
yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Let us enhance a bit. We'll just enhance our request a bit. What we'll do is after index, it will enter some success.jsp. From success.jsp, again it will query for date. That means our success.jsp consists of a simple button which will resolve the call to our date method. So our date method will create an instance of date and it will return the date back to the user. But this time we'll submit the request with post but not with get method. So whenever our index.jsp has forwarded the request to success.jsp, in our success.jsp you can see that we are printing the message and it consists of one more method, get date. This time you can see that action consists of only date but not index/date. The reason for that is, take a look at the URL once after executing. Currently index.jsp, click on message. Now it has changed to index/message. So that means whatever that you have specified within your action tag, that will get added to your form submission. That's what we already know. So now the message we are able to display, H2K Infosys Spring MVC application. Now you are again going to click on get date method. It will only replace the last resource. The resource is now only message but not index/message. It won't replace the whole stuff. It will only replace the last slash part. That's the reason the second one will consist of only the date. Success one will consist of only date. Now if we click on get date method, take a look at the URL. You can see that it has changed to index/date. This is pure REST-based approach. If you take a look at here, index control, get date, HTTP post request received. Here you can see that the date has displayed, and within the code it is just like, take a look at the method. Here I have mentioned that this is a post request because from success.jsp I'm submitting with method post, and here I'm just creating a model object with date as an attribute, and I am returning the date back to the user. Now let us say change this one to get method. Execute our index.jsp one more time. You can see that HTTP status 405 request method get is not supported. The reason for that is you have index/date within your index controller. You have a mapping for date, but you have restricted that it can only accept post type methods but not get type methods.
can you make it get there?
Here.
Yeah. It should work there now, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Krish,
Yeah.
if you didn't mention like in JSP, like the post or get method, but we mentioned in the method like post in the controller class. That time it won't take like default one, right? It will take the post only, right?
No. See, whenever the browser submits the request, by default, the form submission will be get method only. That is basically.
If we mention here post also, it won't,
Yeah,
right?
It won't.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. See, as of now, we are seeing only the normal messages, but we are not retrieving any parameters from front end. Now we'll see how to retrieve the parameters from front end. Whenever we have created our login page will consist of username and password. So you want to pass the username and password to our REST-based methods. See, then only we can take the username and password and contact the database and provide the actual result. That means there should be a way to pass username and password to our REST-based method. To pass those methods, we have several annotations. See, normally when we are writing the method, public void verify login. This is our method. And within our method, we need to get the username and password, and we need to contact the database. The only issue here is how to get those parameters to our method. Here we have properly mapped to login as well. Only issue is to get the parameters. There are certain annotations that can be useful to receive the request parameters. The annotation request param with a value is used to map the form parameter as a method parameter. See, normally just think that verify login is a business method and it will receive those two parameters, string username and string password. If we have received these two parameters as a method level parameters, we can simply use them and we can contact the database and our work has completed properly. But only thing is how we can get the parameters, that will be based on Spring framework. You can just inform to the Spring framework by using annotations. The annotations can be applied at the method level parameters as well. As of now, we have seen class level, method level, property level. This is additional one you can set at the method parameters level as well. Specify that this is a request parameter and it is username. This one also request parameter with name password. See, this is, as you can see, the request param. What Spring will do while calling, it will call the request.get parameter method with your name, request.get parameter of username. Normally, this is how we have received from our servlet. Normally, when we have worked on login servlet, this is how we have received our username and password parameters. But currently, instead of you doing that work, you are asking your framework to take care about those stuff, reading the parameters and provide them as a method level parameter. That's how you are informing to the Spring framework. With the struts framework, you have the option of binding a form itself to our JSP page. Form nothing but our action form. In Spring also, you can bind a form by using @model attribute, specify the name of the form. So once you have specified @model attribute employee from public void update details, employee from employee. See, the first one is annotation and the second one is the actual method parameter. So update details accepts only one parameter, which is employee form. But why we are introducing model attribute? Because you are informing to the Spring framework, this is a form model attribute, and populate the MP parameter by using this particular employee form and call the update details method. That is how you are informing to the Spring framework. Now write a JSP page which takes username and password, submits the request to our login page, and our login page, our login controller, and our login controller method, the path method, will receive the param based on annotations, and finally contacts the database and retrieves the result and send it back to the user. My login.jsp, here you can see that I'm using employee ID and password. This is just like our normal login page, which consists of employee ID and password. Once after that, it will submit the request to action login. So go to our controller. No need to mention anything with respect to our configuration file. For login, I have mapped to login request method. This consists of two parameters, integer employee ID and string password. And I'm also adding a model object because I want to send some model information back to the UI. With int employee ID, you can see that I have added the annotation request param, and the parameter name is empid, same as that of whatever that was there within our JSP page. In the same way, for password also the same name that you are supposed to use, or else it will simply insert null value to password. Once after that, forget about how we got the DAO object. We'll take a look at that one. We are calling our get employee details method by passing the employee ID, and we are retrieving the employee bean. Finally, I'm adding the employee bean to our model attribute, and I'm returning the success response back to the user. So I'm returning employee. The employee JSP, it will just use EL expression language, and it will display the whole data. Or else I'm just adding an error message specifying that please enter valid credentials and returning to the same login page itself. This is the same scenario which we have followed in all our projects. But the only additional stuff is how we are able to retrieve the request parameters. This is based on employee ID and also request param password. Let us go and execute our login page. For our login page, I have followed our old approach, which is submitting by using welcome.jsp file. The welcome.jsp, it will submit to index/welcome. So go to our welcome. Even for welcome also, I have written a simple method, request mapping welcome, which will return to the login page. So now go and execute our welcome page instead of login page. So this is our login page. Enter the employee ID and password 1 Steve. You can see that username received from the form 1. This is the request parameter. Username received from the form, I'm sorry, by wrongly spelled. Here it should be employee ID. Employee ID received from the form EMP ID 1, and password received from the form Steve. And I'm not doing any validation. It is just contacting the database and retrieving the details, and finally sending it back to our employee.jsp, and here it is displaying the whole information. And here you can see that it has called the Hibernate get method, and it has executed the Hibernate query as well. Finally, the login was successful. Let us say enter some other number. You can see that it was not available, login failed, redirecting to the same login page. We are able to work on login method, but how we are able to contact the database? Currently, we are using employee DAO. That means we are using some kind of JDBC or Hibernate to contact the database. Normally, whenever we are writing our Spring configuration file, Spring configuration annotation servlet.xml file. Just a second, please. Whenever you are writing the configuration files, your annotation servlet.xml file, Spring recommends that don't confuse the annotation servlet.xml file with all the layers beans. See, normally you need to have web layer, service layer, data layer. Whenever you are designing your application, you should divide all your beans. Which bean will come under the part of web layer? Which bean will come under the part of service layer, and also the data layer as well? The reason for that is, see, you can write in the single XML file, annotation servlet.xml file, and configure all the beans, like your MVC beans, your Hibernate beans, and your service layer beans. You can configure everything within the same XML file. There won't be any issue. But Spring suggests that whenever you are writing the beans within your XML file, divide them based on the layering structure. Let us say when you are writing the data layer, previously you have used Hibernate annotation Hibernate.xml file. You have used a different XML file.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.